Your subconscious is always watching, always listening, always calculating. And sometimes it intervenes. You're about to speak, about to say something, and suddenly the words disappear. You forget what you are going to say. And you think, how did I forget? I just had it. But Al-Ghazali taught you didn't forget. You were protected. Your subconscious saw something your conscious mind didn't see. A consequence, a reaction, a regret. And it stopped you, erased the thought, made you forget. Because saying those words would have caused harm. To you, to them, to the situation. And your subconscious, loyal guardian that it is, chose silence over speech. This happens more than you realize. You're in a conversation. You're about to say something. Maybe it's a criticism. Maybe it's a confession. Maybe it's a joke. Maybe it's information. And just as you open your mouth, the words vanish. Gone. Completely gone. And you stand there, confused, trying to remember. What was I going to say? And everyone is waiting, looking at you. And you feel embarrassed, frustrated, like your brain failed you. But Al-Ghazali said, your brain didn't fail. It protected you. Because what you were about to say would have created a problem, would have revealed too much, would have changed the dynamic in a way you weren't ready for. And your subconscious knew this, faster than your conscious mind could process. And it intervened. Now most people don't recognize this as protection. They think it's just forgetting, just a brain glitch, just getting older or being distracted. But Al-Ghazali taught that your subconscious operates at a speed your conscious mind can't match. It processes thousands of variables in a split second. It reads the room, reads the person, reads the timing, reads the potential outcomes. And when it calculates that speaking would cause more harm than good, it stops you. Not by force, not by creating anxiety, but by simply removing the words from your awareness, making you forget, so that you can't say what shouldn't be said. And this is different from fear. Fear stops you from speaking by making you anxious, by making you doubt, by making you overthink. You know what you want to say, but you're too scared to say it. That's fear. But when your subconscious stops you, there's no fear. There's just nothing. The thought is gone. You genuinely don't remember what you were going to say. And that forgetting, that erasure, it's not fear. It's wisdom, operating at a level deeper than conscious thought. So let's look at when this happens. When does your subconscious intervene? When does it make you forget? Al-Ghazali identified specific situations, specific moments, where your subconscious is most likely to stop you. The first is when you're about to criticize someone. You're frustrated, annoyed, and you're about to express it, about to tell them what you really think. And just as you open your mouth, you forget. The words disappear. And you think, what was I going to say? But your subconscious knows, if you had said it, if you had criticized them in that moment, it would have damaged the relationship. Not because the criticism was wrong, but because the timing was wrong. The tone was wrong. The person wasn't ready to hear it. And the damage would have been greater than the benefit. The second situation is when you're about to reveal something personal, something vulnerable, something you're not ready to share. You're in a conversation, and for a moment, you feel open, safe, and you're about to confess, about to reveal, and then nothing. You forget what you were going to say. And later, you think, thank God I didn't say that, because your subconscious knew that the person you were talking to wasn't trustworthy, or that you weren't actually ready to be that vulnerable, or that revealing that information would have shifted the power dynamic in a way you couldn't handle. And it stopped you, protected you, by making you forget. The third situation is when you're about to say something in anger. You're upset, hurt, and you're about to lash out. About to say something cutting, something harsh, something designed to hurt back. And just as the words form, they disappear. You forget what you are going to say. And in that moment, you might feel frustrated, like you lost your chance to express your anger. But your subconscious saved you, because those words, if spoken, would have created damage you couldn't undo, would have crossed a line you couldn't uncross, would have said something you'd regret for years. And your subconscious, faster than your conscious rage, recognized the danger and stopped you. The fourth situation is when you're about to share information that isn't yours to share. Someone told you something, in confidence or in private, and you're in a conversation, and it's relevant, and you're about to mention it, about to share, and you forget. The information vanishes from your mind, and you move on. And later, when you remember, you realize, that wasn't mine to share. That was private. And if I had said it, I would have broken trust, would have violated confidence, would have damaged my relationship with the person who told me. And your subconscious knew this, and protected both you and them by making you forget. Al-Ghazali also taught that your subconscious can see consequences you can't see. You're about to say something that seems harmless, seems innocent, seems fine, but your subconscious sees 3 steps ahead, sees how that person will react, sees what they'll do with that information, sees how it will change things. And when the consequence is negative, when the outcome is harmful, your subconscious intervenes, makes you forget, not because it's controlling you, but because it's protecting you from consequences your conscious mind hasn't calculated yet. And this is why, when you forget what you are going to say, you should trust it. You should accept it. You should let it go. Because your subconscious didn't erase it randomly. It erased it for a reason. And even if you don't consciously understand the reason, even if you can't see the danger, your subconscious saw it and made the decision to protect you. And that protection, that guardian function, it's working for you. Always, even when it feels frustrating. Even when it feels like you lost your train of thought. You didn't lose it. It was taken. For your own good. Now some people ask, but what if it was something important? What if I needed to say it? And Al-Ghazali's answer is, if it was truly important, if it truly needed to be said, it will come back. Not in that moment, but later, in a better moment, with better timing, with better words. Your subconscious doesn't erase important things permanently. It delays them, it holds them, until the timing is right, until the person is ready, until you're ready. And when that moment comes, the words will return, naturally, effortlessly, without forcing. And you'll say what needs to be said, in the way it needs to be said. And it will land, because the timing will be right. But if it never comes back, if you never remember what you were going to say, that's also information. That means it wasn't meant to be said. Not ever. Not to that person. Not in that context. It was a thought, a fleeting impulse, that your subconscious recognized as harmful or unnecessary, and it protected you from speaking it. And the fact that you can't remember it, the fact that it's completely gone, that's the confirmation. That's the proof that it wasn't meant to be spoken. Al-Ghazali also taught about the relationship between tongue and heart. He said, the tongue reveals what the heart contains, but the tongue can also betray what the heart wants to protect. And your subconscious knows this. It knows when your tongue is about to betray your heart. About to say something your heart doesn't actually want to say. About to express something you'll regret. About to reveal something you're not ready to reveal. And in those moments, your subconscious shuts down the tongue, makes you forget, creates a gap between thought and speech, so that your heart remains protected, so that you don't betray yourself. And this is especially important in moments of emotion. When you're angry, when you're hurt, when you're defensive, when you're triggered. In those moments, your conscious mind isn't in control. Your emotions are. And if your emotions had full access to your tongue, you'd say things you don't mean, things you'd regret, things that would damage relationships permanently. But your subconscious intervenes, even in emotional moments, even when you're upset. It watches, it calculates, and when you're about to cross a line, it stops you, makes you forget, protects you from your own emotional reactivity. Now there's a difference between subconscious protection and fear-based suppression. Fear makes you remember what you want to say, but stops you from saying it. You're aware of the words. You're aware of the desire to speak, but you're too afraid of the consequences. That's fear. But subconscious protection makes you forget. There's no awareness, no internal debate, no conscious choice. The words simply vanish, and you move on. That's the difference. Fear keeps you aware. Protection makes you forget. And here's the practice Al-Ghazali taught. When you forget what you were about to say, pause. Take a breath, and internally say, "Thank you. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for seeing what I didn't see. Thank you for stopping me from saying what shouldn't be said." You don't need to know what it was. You don't need to remember. You just need to trust. Trust that your subconscious is on your side. Trust that the forgetting was for your benefit. Trust that you are protected. And let it go. And over time, as you practice this trust, as you stop fighting the forgetting, as you stop trying to force the memory back, something shifts. You become more aligned with your subconscious, more attuned to its guidance, more aware of when it's protecting you, and you start to notice patterns. You start to recognize, I forget most often when I'm about to criticize, or when I'm about to overshare, or when I'm about to react emotionally. And that recognition helps you become more conscious, more intentional, more careful with your words, not out of fear, but out of respect. Respect for the wisdom of your subconscious. Respect for the protection it provides. Respect for the consequences it helps you avoid. Al-Ghazali's final teaching on this was simple. Your subconscious is not your enemy. It's not sabotaging you. It's not making you look foolish. It's protecting you. Every time you forget what you are about to say, that's protection. Every time the words vanish, that's wisdom. Every time you can't remember, that's your guardian doing its job. And instead of fighting it, instead of being frustrated by it, honor it. Trust it. Thank it. Because your subconscious has saved you from more regrets than you'll ever know, from more harm than you'll ever see, from more consequences than you'll ever calculate. And that forgetting, that sudden blank, it's not a weakness. It's a gift from the wisest part of yourself, the part that sees what you can't see, knows what you don't know, and protects you even when you don't realize you need protecting.